see you. No, this is my company. Okay, I hate my job. I'm sorry to say that you're still in high school, so you're going to get your job and you're going to hate it yourself probably. It's difficult to speak after so enthusiastic people, full of passion and so on, but I can't help it. I hate my job. I do research on urban legends and conspiracy theories and fake news, and I hate it. And people think, whoa, that must be the best job in the world. Like you spend all your life scrolling through Facebook and reading these crazy stories about like the Earth is flat, or there is a reptilian conspiracy with strange creatures living underground, or aliens, or whatever. Because it's like eating chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate. So when you take a piece of chocolate or a bar or whatever, it's sweet, it's tasty. So when you scroll your Facebook and you see one shitty story about Martians controlling our minds or whatever, you think, yummy. But let's imagine all your life is like eating chocolate over and over again, and other people who think, oh, chocolate is yummy, will be like, hey, Marcin, I found another crazy story, you would laugh. Yes, definitely, I will love it. So, it's my job like for 10 years now or something like that. Yeah, I look like I was 16, so you can believe that I can be doing something for over 10 years now. But yeah, actually, that's the first conference in my life, and I don't look like the youngest speaker, so this is great to be here. People want to help me, so they give me more chocolate, and I keep eating it and analyzing and so on and so forth. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to share with you what I hate most. So my job, chocolate. I'm a philosopher by training, so I'm trained to start with most basic questions. Does it work? That was not the question. Yeah, that's the question. So, the most fundamental of all of them is the why question. Philosophically speaking, is what is the meaning of life, or why was the universe created, or whatever. You learn philosophy, so maybe you know this question, but it may also take a much more mundane form, like the question you are asking yourselves right now. Why the hell am I here listening to this talk? So, what's in it for me? And I may try to anticipate your thoughts and address it. So, you're here, so you're probably interested in some abstract knowledge and general ideas. You're here to get smarter. I'm a philosopher, so I'm not that stupid. So you're probably here for money, aren't you? So that could be an anticipation. Most things that happen in our life are for money, so you're probably here to get some profit. That could be my line of thinking. So anticipating that, I can tell you, and that's not a fake news, you can make a lot of money by being good in creating fake news. Like, there was a guy in Macedonia who made a real fortune just by starting a web page providing fake news. It was a good time for that because it took place during the presidential campaign in the US. It was just collecting ad revenue. The more crazy the news were, the more outrageous, the bigger was his reviews. He kept reading it, and after 2 or 3 months, his friends started it, and actually there used to be a whole town in Macedonia full of people creating fake news. So it's a good business. So what I've done now was creating a track for your attention to lure you into my story, and that's exactly how a good fake news works. When you think about fake news, or urban legends, or contemporary myths, or stuff like that, conspiracy theories, you usually think that they're about untrue things, or aliens, or whatever. That's not the case. They're about this very mechanism. So they offer you the answer to this basic question. They offer you the answer to the question why. They will tell you, how how to get money or explain the world. Did what I just done, but you know, they are sinister, I'm unjust. So they are like, come into my world. I will tell you why your neighbor has a better car than yours. Or, you hate these politicians. I will tell you why they make such wrong decisions. And you know, so that's how it works. My memory isn't very good, and I didn't know that I'm supposed to have notes here. So I changed Y into an acronym. Like TED also stands for something, does it? Yeah. So Y stands for words, history, and you. Let's start with words. When you think about myths, contemporary myths or ancient Greek myths, whatever, you usually think they are stories. People tell each other. They are verbal. They are created with words. Well, that's never been the case. If you take a look on ancient history and think how did an ancient Greek boy or girl learn their myths, it wouldn't be by reading a book called Greek mythology. It would be by listening to stories, but also taking part in a ritual, watching a performance, or looking at a picture on a vase or on a sculpture. So words are weaker than images and rituals, and they are much slower. We can see it especially nowadays, that images travel way faster. And we have this funny tendency about images that when you see a picture or a video, even better, it's probably real. Well, we know about Photoshop and special effects or whatnot, but we generally think that if I saw it, well, it's probably real. So the very basic rule of creating a good fake news is not to start with words. Is to start with a situation, or with a picture, or with a video. And now, let's take a picture of two politicians from an official meeting, and let's just change a caption. Let's say, secret meeting between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, whatever. Well, that's a good start, because a person sees a picture and, well, that's actually what really happened. There's been recently a very popular video of Muslims supposedly destroying a Christmas tree. Well, I've seen this video, a Muslim crowd climbing on a Christmas tree and really throwing something away or something like that. So I tried to look for the source of the video, and what occurred was it was a part of a Christmas celebration in a shopping mall in Cairo, and it was a competition when the fathers took little presents for the children from the Christmas tree. So indeed, they were climbing a Christmas tree and taking something, but they weren't outraged Muslim crowd mob. They were just taking part in some kind of celebration. So what we may start with is I'll take a picture of you. Say cheese or fake news. Now, just upload it to the presentation. Okay, it seems as uploading it online it's not so easy, so I'll just drop it. Don't worry, I'm a very talented painter. Did it work?
Just upload the picture.
Okay, so yeah, I have like 30 seconds for that, so let's start with that. This will be the core of our fake news, an event that really did happen. So a group of young people sitting here under the banner saying TEDx and same thing with Copernicus. That's a good start also, okay? So let's start with that. That's our image, better than words. And move to the next point, which is age, which is for history. History is very helpful. The first thing I learned by studying thousands and thousands of conspiracy theories or eating thousands and thousands of bars of chocolate is like they tend to repeat each other. over and over again. So I almost never start with literary fact-checking. But when I see a completely new story about, for example, immigrants kidnapping children and taking them to the basement, what I analyze is the structure, repeating, for example, in this very case, the very old story about Jewish people kidnapping Polish children. So I see this is a very similar story, and why does it work? It works because we tend to believe in things we've already heard, or already saw in this case. So, if you want to create a successful fake news, what you have to do is just don't try to be creative. Don't try to be too creative. What you need is take something people already are suspicious about and just, spin it a little to fit your story. Like, the flat earth theory. It's already pretty popular. Some people believe in that. So, let's say, for example, that, this is the part of the Copernicus conspiracy, where young people are manipulated into spreading the globe theory. So, what we will put on our webpage with the real picture I've just taken is that, young people, influencers from various high schools in Warsaw were invited here in order, you will tell your colleagues in school that the Earth is round, despite the fact that everybody knows that it is flat. Okay? So this will be the part of the conspiracy. And the last part is the most important one. We may think that all these crazy stories are about, the shape of Earth, or vaccines, or I don't know what. People don't really care about that. What people really care about is themselves. I'm sorry that that's true. So, when a story, a fake news, or a pseudo-scientific theory is to be successful, it does exactly what I've done at the beginning. It tries to anticipate what would you expect and give you something. Like, let's think about the flat earth theory for a moment. Does it really make a difference in my life? The shape of Earth, is it a globe or a disc or whatever, a cube? No. What would make a difference is if I were able to justify why the heck am I driving this small old car and my neighbor is driving a Mercedes. So, where's the connection between these two things? Well, in order to believe that the Earth is really flat, I will also have to believe that there is a super powerful conspiracy that is able to hide something as big as the shape of our planet. So, heck, if they are able to make an illusion or whatever, simulation, or to hide the true shape of our planet, they are definitely able to make me poor and my neighbor rich. So this is never really about, vaccines, global warming, or whatever. It's always about me and my neighbor. It's always about giving me the answer, because why is also, for the question why. It's also about giving me the answer to this most basic philosophical question. So the successful fake news lures you into its trap by saying, very often by doing what I've done at the very beginning, it's all about money. Well, they hide the true shape of Earth, or they hide the destructive impact of vaccines in order to get your money. You will be poor, they will be rich, so you were paid to convince your colleagues about the shape of the Earth, and the money is a simple explanation why you are here, because no one reasonable will be here just to listen to people talking. Okay, so, you may use this knowledge you've just acquired for various things. It the thing I would definitely recommend is to come back and start your own fake news webpage. But if you're not, I don't know, sinister enough or just not brave enough, whatever, or you have better things to do, you can use it to do the reverse engineering of existing fake news. Because knowing how they are constructed makes, at least for me, realizing that something is a fake news way easier. So there are all these methods saying, look for the source, or ask an expert, or I don't know. They are super difficult. But the first thing I do is to look if the news is just a news, or is it created in this way, like trying to deceive me by using, for example, image instead of definitive description. Is it a part, is it another link in a longer chain of deception? And last but not least, is it trying to flatter me by saying your life will be better, or your life will be easier if you will believe me in that? Well, obviously some parts of that description also fit the presentation I just gave, but you'll have to decide yourself if it's, the fake news itself or not. They told me that there are additional points for keeping it short, so I did. Thank you.